and we're just going to do a rapid race. I'm taking a break from study, so taking a break from my studies, and I'm just going to let what I've learnt soak in, because it takes me a while to learn sometimes. Although I did learn about viruses today, and how virus is called, and the spiky bit on a virus is called an envelope, such as COVID. And let's go Dragon's Tower and Seaside River. So I don't want to begin at a max pilot going downhill and down gearing downhill to manage speed. So basically, where are you going? You're getting down. Lottie, Silas, no, Lottie. Sorry, I've got to put her in a cage because she's going to start fighting. She's not fighting, but fighting for dominance. You know what I mean? Lottie, in. I ain't having none of that. There's going to be a distraction. Good girl. Yes. The only problem with having two dogs. Yeah, but anyway, we learnt about virus today, and COVID sounds like, correct, I could be wrong, but I've learnt thus far that COVID is a prokaryotic virus that doesn't need oxygen to replicate. Because it came from SARS. So it does make me wonder if it was made in a lab. It does really make me wonder if it was man-made, to be fair. And a virus is not a live cell, it's actually a parasite, because... Silas, lay down! Stressing me out, boy, just wandering round. Can't see. Distracting my eye line, boy. Just lay down. Yeah. So basically, yeah, a virus is not a live cell. But then that makes me wonder, oh, for fuck's sake, I hate it when I'm trying to drive it. See what I mean? I can't concentrate what these freaking animals walking around my feet. Right. Anyway. Yeah, so if a virus is a dead virus, right, and I'm looking forward to doing my first essay, if I'm honest, because I can look into stuff, I can question myself, I can try and find answers to my own questions. What I normally share with you that nobody ever provides the answer to. But if a virus is not a live cell and we have vaccinations, and a vaccination is a copy of the live virus already inside our cells, then why do we need vaccinations? Not that I'm anti-vaxxer, because that's just something that I'm not, but I sit there to myself, if you catch the virus, will your body automatically take hold of the virus into its cells? Because for a virus to take hold, it has to live in the cell. And if over-oxygenated blood can cause blood clots, then what did the other vaccine do? It's just a lot of questions that I'm going to look into for my essay, to be fair, on cells and cell division. I might use COVID as a good study base. I know it's supposed to be done with animals, but getting back to the question, if a virus is effectively a dead organism because it has none of the 7 characteristics of life, then such as movement, reproduction, growth, respiration, and I can't remember the other 3. So, like I say, I need to do my homework, but yeah. And it has to be injected into a live host. But when you looked at COVID in when you looked at COVID on these 3D models of what it done to your lungs, it took your airwaves and filled them with mucus. So COVID effectively, in what I don't know, but I'm starting to see my eyes and my brain's telling me maybe it's not factually backed up because I don't know it all yet. I don't know it all, so it doesn't really make a difference. It's just a theory or an idea or a thought, basically. So it's just a thought. But yeah, the idea would be the fact that it changed the molecular level of the cells and what your lungs and your throat did, and changed the prokaryotic to the adjacent opposite cell type, to the adjacent opposite type of cell. Oh, that's a big word, isn't it, for me? Adjacent opposite. But yeah. Actually quite interesting. So on viruses at the moment, we've done live cells and regular cells and the diagrams of cells and all the crap that's in a cell and the DNA, where the DNA is stored and where all the crap comes out of a cell like an arsehole and all that. So I'm just chilling now, having a bit of unwind downtime, just letting what I've done soak in. There's lots of notes that when I was writing them down, didn't seem to soak in, it just felt like I was writing them until I read them back to myself, obviously later on, and then make sure they stay imprinted in my head to remember what they do, what they're for and how they do it. So we've been looking at ATPs and proteins and stuff that the body needs for fuel to check. Hey! Someone's either knocked on the door or is trying to shut me up. No one's even there, boy. But yeah. Yeah, so we're looking at the proteins and how viruses sit inside proteins and stuff. And there's a cell inside the nucleus, or inside the cell, not inside the nucleus, inside the cell. There's not a cell, there's like a membrane part of the cell. See, this is what I mean of learning the names of the parts of the cells that expel crap, as in like your digestive system does. Like you eat, and then it secretes, and then obviously your liver must clean them or whatever. But yeah, it's fine. It's interesting. But we're learning the physiology first. And I need to touch upon my maths. I tried to do maths the other day with large numbers using the column method. Could I get it right? -1, take 1. The multiplication does me. Multiplication. Times it, add it, and then it gives you the, put a 0 on it and then move. Oh my days. Absolute nightmare. So multiplication, I definitely need to revise. I mean, division is just the reverse of multiplication, isn't it? So, But even though when you put it in simple terms, it's really difficult to understand. And then I've got my English enrolment, which is going to be difficult in itself because I really trouble with comprehension, like understanding a question and what the question is asking. I can give you an example. How does your something affect the way you eat or drink? And I'll go, instead of giving the answer, correct answer such as whatever it is, I'll turn around and say, well, I eat and I drink this amount and eat this much at these times or whenever I can be bothered. I won't give the correct answer upon comprehension, so I have to get somebody else to put that out for me. So it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. Plus this guy earlier, oh my days, he was banging his hammer on the fence. I was like, will you stop banging that freaking hammer? His hammer, I'm trying to hammer a nail in. I would stop banging that hammer. 7, 5s, 9s and 4s. That's all he kept doing. I was like, shut the fuck up. He'll just do my fucking head in. I'm trying to study and there he is, like, trying to put it all on. I'm like, get the fuck out my head. And now I'm just taking a break, chilling out. Because it's just pure distracting. He wasn't even hitting a nail. You could tell by the sound of the hammer, he was just hitting pieces of wood. You know what I mean? When you hit a nail, you hear at least a tink, you hear something. It's not just a dull thud on its own. And the amount of times he was hitting it, if you've hit one nail in the same place into the same piece of wood, which I'm guessing you're doing, you've hit the nail 4 or 5 times and it's gone in, then you've stopped, and then you've moved on to your next nail or whatever else. So I know that he's doing it on purpose. And I seen my stepdad do all that kind of stuff when he used to snap at the council. You know, when they were circling him. And they used to come round, fit his windows, circle him and do his head in. And then he just came outside and he just grabbed the biggest fucking lump hammer I've ever seen, walked up to the council bloke, went to stick it round his head, and the council bloke never came back to finish fitting the windows. I think I'm starting to develop a slight bit of arthritis in my wrist. No, it's not banker's cramp from counting money. Not that I have any money to count. It's more along the lines of stressing me out. But yeah, I just think they're trying to set me off or piss me off again or whatever it is. They just don't want me to be proved right. I don't know why, they just don't want me to be proved right. Like in what I say or what I do, they just want to make me look crazy. And then just sit back, I stay here, play on this computer game, in front of this fucking camera, do this shit. And then do nothing with my life and waste away. And they're only like people that smoke weed, they're like small time crooks, but they ain't half annoying. Like really annoying. It's like they're just annoying. They just talk so much shit, and it's like I said the other day, like I said yesterday. It's like, why would I go make my life worse just to make your lives better? I wouldn't do it. I'm sorry. Why would I dig myself a hole? Oh, come on. Fuck off. Thank you, car. Sometimes when cars crash into your computer games, it helps you around the corner. So just because your life's in shit and you think, if he goes and he starts doing whatever, our lives will get better and then we don't have to worry about anything else. Get fucked. That's what I have to say. Not that I don't appreciate it, but maybe you should have ran your plan by me before you executed your plan. Ever thought of that? Because you need to know whether I'll agree to it or not. So your plan is now just gone out the window, down the drain pipe, waste of time, money, effort, resources, and now you're exposed and naked. And you can't tell me I'm wrong there. But anyway, Grand Theft Auto Sport. I've not played Gran Turismo 7 yet. It is out on PS4. I'm waiting for the PS5 to go right down in price, if I'm honest. I don't see why I'd buy a PS5 anyway. It's only got slightly better graphics card and a slightly better processor, like 0.64 better processor, and I think it's less than a gigabyte faster graphics rendering. That's it. That's the only difference. It's not even on par with anything. So I think I'll wait till sort of like PlayStation 6 or something like that. If I'm honest, I'll wait another 4 or 5. Hang on, wait. How long's PS4 been the main leading console for? PS4 has been the leading console for what, 2012, 2014? Yeah, 2014, 2015. So we're looking at every 8 to 9 years a new console comes out, so I can wait until then. I don't see much point in paying extra for an upgrade, for especially an upgrade that isn't that great. It tends no differences except in size. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I don't get this disc version versus DLC version either. I think it's a waste of money to have a DLC version, because you're ruining the market. Think about it. You ain't going to be able to go to your second-hand shops and buy games anymore cheap. You have to buy them all brand new from the store. Then like you go to some game stores and like, you know, the annual games like FIFAs or Fight Nights or UFC or NBA or rugby or anything like that, if you're a sporting fan, all drop down in price to less than £1 as soon as the new version comes out, because everything's outdated. Players have changed, seasons have changed, player stats have changed. The whole game is out of date. But if you just want a cheap game because you just want to play a bit of football, you're not really bothered about keeping up and having the latest thing, then you can just go down and go, oh, I fancy a new FIFA game today, I'm going to go pay 90 pence for a new FIFA game, or a couple of quid. You know what I mean? But the thing is, it's like it just kills the second-hand market. So you can't really swap games with your mates. Say if you've got a game, your mate's got a game, you both want them, you both like each other's games. I tell you what, I'll do your trade. Like with Pokemon cards or whatever. Although to be fair, don't get ripped off because I did that once. I had a Matrix banana phone when I was in secondary school, year 8. I know because my music teacher was my form tutor. No, year 9. Right? Because I was in Fulhurst. And this lad said to me, I'll swap your iPhone for yours. And I swapped phones with him. And I got ripped off and his phone didn't even work. I couldn't even get my money back and I was too pussy to stand up to him and smash him in the face and take my phone back off of him. Because of what happened in my previous school. So yeah, and he was like, I'll swap films. So if you're going to swap a game, make sure it's like for like, quality for quality, storyline for gameplay, or action for whatever it is that you want to swap. But yeah, you can't no longer lend games out to your friends. So for example, you've got like the latest Call of Duty, but your mate's got the latest Resident Evil. Your mate's completed the Call of Duty, he's played it online, he wants to try the new Resident Evil, you want to try, his friend wants to try Call of Duty, then they can swap games for a bit and then try them out. But with DLC you can't do that. You can't even sell your old games on to go towards the latest version of the new game. So you can't even trade up. You know what I mean? So you won't even be able to trade up. For example, if you've got Gran Turismo Sports, which I'm playing, okay, fair enough, it's only worth about fucking $5. Not even that. I don't even know what it's worth actually. This is DLC, so it's 15 quid on DLC, but it costs less than that in a game shop. And then you want to buy the new Gran Turismo 7, you trade up, right? You go get a couple of quid. It's a couple of quid knocked off, a couple of quid's a 2 pints of milk, innit? That's what I got told by my dad when a library book was late. Flipping heck. My dad and my stepmom used to take me to the library every week, and they used to get me educational books out. So it used to be only allowed to take about 5 books out at a time. So I used to take 1 fictional story, 1 non-fiction, and then 1 or 2 educational books from the library. And that was pretty much my summer holiday, to be fair. And this was my summer holiday, so I used to be learning on my summer holidays, and because I had really shit SATs results, but at the time I couldn't see that my parents were just trying to give me the best start possible because they knew how important education was. So throughout my summer holidays, and every day when I used to come home from work, I used to have number, math books, handwriting books, and reading and writing books. I was homeschooled about sexual education as opposed to what was taught to me in school, before school even taught it. For example, what breasts are for, what a vagina is for, what a penis is for. You know, just literally the skull and bones and the biology of it. Not what's normal, what's accepted, what's not normal, nothing like that in these books. And then I've come out from school, so I'm in year 6, and I've come out from school, and then this, my stepmom put me in the car and she said, I've had a letter from the library, those books that you said you took back, you didn't take them back, did you? I was like, no. So she said, where are they? I said, they're down the side of my bed. And she was like, well, we've got to take them back. So we took them back. And I said, oh, it was only £1.75 for the overpayment. She said, yeah, no, but £1.75 could have gone towards 4 pints of milk and a bag of sugar for your tea or your coffee. which then sort of made me think like, yeah, you can't really afford to waste money spending things on things that are late to return, which is why I hate buy to sell, like sell to buy, like buyback. Like I put my drills on buyback for 40 odd quid, I lost the letter, then I kept forgetting to go down and pick it up. And I said to the bloke on buyback, I said, can you just wait to the end of the week when I get paid, mate? It's like 2 days away. He's like, no, you gotta come down now and come pay me £45 to come get a lot. Fuck it. So I'll just go out and buy some new drills. Tell me throwing them across the room anyway. But yeah. And I had responsibility. I remember the first time I ever walked a dog. Oh, flipping out. I went and took my dog out for a walk on her own. And she literally, no word of a lie, dragged me down the street, and I was holding onto the lead by my little finger, and she was dragging me down the street, and I ripped all of my coat. Straight down to Fame Fashions to go get a new one. Or the first time I remember buying my first CD, it was my birthday, and my dad gave me £10 and said, you can go out and buy your first CD. I can't remember what the CD was now. And no, he went to go buy a CD and said, do you want to pay for the CD? I told him, I said, yeah, first time I ever held a banknote in Asda, back when they had the CD counter at the back of the store, where the bakery now is at Foss Park. Or the clothing fitting rooms, that's where it used to be. Before they sold clothes, I think. And I held the £10 note in my hand and put my hand behind my back. And my dad walked up and he snatched the note out of my hand, and I turned around and he looked at me and said, what's the matter? I said, the money's gone. The money's gone. He said, well, keep the money in your pocket and keep it in one hand or the other. You know the worst bit of advice I never listened to? If you're walking past homeless people and you have change in your pocket, well, I did listen to this advice actually, to be fair, and they're beggars and you have change in your pocket, put your change in different pockets, or put your change in your coin pocket so they don't hear it jingling, and then they won't ask you for it, then they don't know if you've got any change on you or not. And then when I used to go to my at the weekend, I always used to get sent home with 10 pence in my pocket, and I had he used to give me 20 pence for the phone box to make 2 phone calls if I needed to. And he said, put 10 pence in one pocket, put 10 pence in the other, and your mum and Jason, or your mum and stepdad, will never know that I've given you some change to call me. And he said, you call me if there is any problems. As soon as I got in, I forgot about what he said. I should have really listened, but it's something I would do for my kids and make sure that they remember it. But there aren't no phone boxes anymore. But yeah, as soon as my dad seen my SATS results, he was like, no a chance. I'm sorting this out. He did it quite gently as well, but thing is, I weren't really into education yet. I was still outside into that sort of... Basically, I was going out snogging Zoe Storer in a bush. Basically. Or I was doing car boots. So I used to do car boots, and I used to save all my money in a jar full of 5p's, 1p's, 10p's, couple of pound. I always used to take £1 out and go to the sweet shop. I was more concerned about sweets and crap. That's what I was brought up to. That's what I was bribed with as a child, to keep my mouth shut. Sweets and crap. I was never brought. We weren't. We were brought up, but we weren't brought up. You know what I mean? But yeah. I used to have notes as well around the house because I wasn't brought up with no structured routine. I used to have notes around the house, and they were my little rules. So basically, you could wear the same clothes twice in a week, but you have to change your pants and socks every day because it reduces the washing, and you might as well get the most out of your clothes because the more that you wash them, the more that they fade and go out of work. Although to be fair, if you wear them too much, you know what I mean. And then on the kitchen above the toilet every morning there was a notice saying have a wash, brush your hair, brush your teeth, which I did, and I followed the rules. I remember seeing floss and all sorts on my dad's sink unit. Used to be floss, used to be proper toothpaste, everything. And then there was other things as well, such as like little rules on the back of my bedroom door. After you finish listening to music or playing with the thing, pack your toys away, tidy them down, tidy them up. Make sure you go to bed, put your clothes in the washing pile. I used to do painting by numbers as like sanctuary space. What else did I used to do? Oh yeah, we used to do puzzles. So puzzles, we used to get like these puzzles where you get loads of interlinked chains and you'd have to separate them all. You'd have to separate your interlinked chains and then figure out the puzzle. Like puzzle boxes and stuff like that. Not complex, pretty simple, but could stress you out. But it was all good for the brain. I mean, you could do crosswords, but crosswords weren't my thing. As I got older, I probably would have been better at them. I can do a couple of lines on a crossword, but you know. And I was at the right age for my brain to be. My brain was still absorbent at 9 to 10 years old, you know what I mean? 1996. 1995 to 1996, I think. 1998, so I remember it was the year Princess Diana died. And the year Frank Sinatra died. And the year England won lost the 1998 World Cup. No, Euros. So it was 1997 to 1998. Can't even remember my first Christmas. Didn't even get to spend the first Christmas. Spent my first birthday, which was great. My first birthday was a holiday that doubled up as my dad's and stepmom's honeymoon. That was awesome. Dad says to me, "Now, Philip, I know you get bashful and shy at looking at women's breasts. Obviously, I've already done my school books, and because I used to be like this at the page 3 girl, because my dad used to read The Sun, and I used to peek through like that. But I used to be like, oh no! But I used to peek. I think he knew that I peeked through. Like, alright, and I was behaving myself. And yeah, and he turns around and said to me, right, you're going to see your stepmom that's on the beach and she's going to be topless trying to get a tan. Please don't be eating it. Just understand that they are just breasts. They produce milk and it's what babies feed on. Do you know what? I weren't even bothered when I got to the beach. I was never seen a sea as clear as I've ever seen a sea. We went on a bottomless boat and we seen the coral reef. We stood at the top of a mountain cliff, not a mountain, but on top of a cliff being chased by mosquitoes, and we're rubbing the anti-mosquito skin stuff on us. And I'm looking over the edge of this cliff and I'm thinking, I want to jump off. Like, like in the movies. But the fact is I'm glad I didn't, because I didn't see if there was any rocks, sharp rocks. You have to kind of clear all the rocks, don't you? And I really did want to jump into the water from really high. Yeah. And I remember going to the shops and buying stuff, and I used to remember walking around going, gracias, gracias to everybody, and, you know, what do you call it? And then I spat like my first little rhyme. It was like in Spanish, and it was like, I said a poem, and it was something to do with the Spanish name for toilet. What is the Spanish name for toilet? I might be able to remember the rhyme if I can remember the Spanish name for toilet. What is Lavatros? Lavatros. I think it was Lavatros, something like that. What is Spanish for toilet? Boys' toilets. Servicios Bano or Service Albano. Está en el servicio or Albano. Can't remember it. I know it was something to do. What does Lavatros mean then? Or is that just like a Spanish prank? And I remember my dad just laughing. No, it's not there. I must have made it up. But anyway, I remember my dad just laughing. Yeah. And then I looked over, and then there was all these. It's a world I'd never seen before. And then I seen all these children in one of those. I was a child myself, right? So I've seen all these children in one of those ponting things, you know, where you get the mascots, and they're all running around and happy and stuff like that. And I'll never forget sleeping on my bed, because the bed that I slept in, we stayed in like a chalet, and you pulled the bed out. It's like a drawer that pulls out from underneath your bed, and then you get into the bed, right? And I'll never forget the ants. The fear of the ants crawling up the bed to get into my bed, because sometimes I used to see them crawling up the side of the post of the sofa, but it was never even in the chalet, except for when we'd eat. But then when we went to the shops and but yeah. It's almost like the life that a wish had taken away from me. I was better off. I was learning. Yeah, anyway, let's not get into the angry stuff. I'm just going to keep looking back at the happy times. Like the first time that, it's not a happy time, the first time I had my first serious conversation about death was when my grandma, my great grandma, was going for operation on her kneecaps because all she wanted to do was learn how to dance again, so she continued to dance and walk. And she had the operation, and my dad came into the room and he said, "Philip, I need you to be ready because Gran chose to go for an operation on her hips and her knees, and she has something like a 60 to 80, she has like a 20 to 40% chance, Lottie, of coming out alive." That was my first conversation at 1997 to 1998, whatever year it was. It's the first serious conversation about the cycle of life, you know what I mean? And then he kind of sat me down, talked to me and said, "Look, if she dies, I know you're going to be upset. Just know it's an operation that she wanted to go for, and she understands the risks and the complications." And that was pretty much the end of the conversation. And when she came out the other side, we was all so happy. It was quite nice. Now, for example, when we got the first dog, Remy, and Jordan was born, you know, my dad prepared me. He prepared me for the difference between how life was going to be as opposed to how it is, such as, okay then Philip, you're going to get a lot less attention and I'm not going to be around as much and be able to pay so much attention to you because we've got a newborn in the house. It doesn't mean we don't love you, it doesn't mean we don't want you, and it doesn't mean that we're not listening or hey! Shush! But what it does mean is that I need you to be growing up and look after your brother, look after your sister. So there was no preparation, but yeah. Hello? Alright?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get in. Get in.
You got a phone, my dear?
Yeah.
Cheers. But yeah. Yeah, there's some of the, like, you know, the best times. And then one morning we woke up and we went outside and there was nitramorse or battery acid poured all over somebody's car. Poured all over his car. So we had to claim on the insurance, write the paintwork off the car, and then got a new car. Didn't really matter because the insurance was there, but it did because it kind of messes stuff up, you know what I mean? And it's a slight hindrance. Oh, it's a slow track, that one. It's a slow couple of laps, those were. Anyway, I'm going to get going. I've got college work to do. I've had a nice break, chilling out, having a chat, talking crap. But yeah, I think that COVID knackered and confused the cells within the body. But we don't know what the vaccine did. But anyway, see you later. There are new symptoms of the COVID thing. If you're interested in cells and biology, or you're studying, I was on MSN webpage this morning and there are new types of symptoms for the COVID-19 virus. Anyway, I'll see you later. Got my mileage up. Did I get a free car? Hey, let's see, we've got a gift car. Let's see what car we got. Ah, we've already got a VW. Do you know what I don't get about this game though, Gran Turismo Ace Bet or Gran Turismo Sport, is you cannot sell your cars. You can't sell your cars that you get, which is a bit of a bummer.